What's up? It's your girl, Taylor Wayla.
It's your girl, Genesee Iman.
With our very special guest,
Lawrence Eggleston.
And you are tuned into Let's Be Real, Boo. Only on Spreaker. Y'all make sure y'all follow us on Instagram at CSIR Media. You can follow Lawrence on his personal.
My personal page is JB3_the best. And you can also follow my business page, Black Wall Street Originals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you know we got to show the host some love. So you guys can follow me at Genesee Iman, all platforms. GENNISEY IMON.
And you can follow me at TAYLA.A.WAYLAA. I keep it lit every day.
Whoa, holiday.
Okay. Back that up. All right. Well, thank you all for tuning in. Like I said, it's Let's Be Real. Today we are going to be interviewing CEO and founder of Black Wall Street Originals, LLC, Lawrence Eggleston. Yes, sir. Let's give him a round of applause. Yes. Okay, so Lawrence, my man.
Yes, ma'am.
Who are you, and what is it that you do?
Gotcha. So I'm gonna start off with who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, the kind of person that I am, I'm someone who's dedicated to making our community different. For a lot of people, if you hear the name of my company, Black Wall Street Originals, the biggest thing is that I'm for my people.
Mm-hmm.
And I want my people to be better, and I want myself to be better, and I want to elevate us to a new platform.
Mm-hmm.
I really believe, like, over the past few years, I believe that we've been slipping as of lately. If you take
Who is we?
We as black people.
Okay.
So if you take a look at, like, our community, a lot of us have, like, become complacent. And the biggest thing that I want to do is make sure that we don't become complacent.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the tools that I use is investing.
Right.
And I feel like when you're an investor, like, you never become complacent. You always look to do better, whether it be make more money or make your community better. You're always looking for something new.
Right.
And I feel like that can break you out of complacency.
Right. So you skipped over where you're from. We want to know where you're from,
where
right?
I'm from?
Your background. Let us know.
Okay. So I'm originally from New York. I moved down here when I was 12. So I spent some of my earlier years in New York. I lived in Long Island, New York. It's about 40 minutes outside of Brooklyn, Queens, so all the boroughs. And then I also lived in Buffalo, New York, which is on the whole other side of the state. And through my times there, I really feel like a lot of the stuff that I'm doing right now with my company, a lot of the compassion was built to me then. When my mom, she first moved out here with my sisters, I didn't come. Like, I stayed with my dad. My dad wasn't home a lot. So it was like I kind of had to fend for myself. 6th grade, like, I was pretty much on my own. Like, as far as, like, getting to school, like, finding places to eat. Like, it was times where I had, like, this big jar of pennies. And I would dump pennies into, like, a plastic bag. And I'd, like, ride my bike up to the grocery store and go to the coin store and, like, exchange them. Like, I felt like I was living a good life, though. Like, it wasn't like I was like living poor or nothing like that. It was just that I had to, like, make the extra step. Like,
you had to be a man early.
Yeah, so I had to be a man early. So it was, like, really one of the things that really, like, pushed me to, like, really, like, step up.
So I hear you talking about a lot of things that kind of, like, inspire you, spark you. So let's just go ahead and get into your, like, top 3 inspirations that kind of led you to getting into the stock market. My
top 3 inspirations. One, I was seeing a lot of these first-class people. I was seeing them making hundreds of thousands of dollars without having to go punch in on a clock.
Right.
So that was really my biggest inspiration. Like, these guys are doing it, let me do it too.
Right.
Because I believe that anybody can do anything that they put their mind to.
Right.
The second thing is like, my second inspiration, I feel like my mom's, like, I want to take care of my mom, so I feel like whatever it is that I have to do, like, I'm going to do it.
Right.
Take care of her. And I feel like my third inspiration when I first started was really just like, I never really had nothing for myself. So it was like, with investing, like, I'll be able to get that. Like, I was able to actually buy, like, a brand new motorcycle with some of the money that I made first off investing.
Being in control of something.
So like I was in control of my time.
Right.
So I feel like that was my biggest inspiration, wanted to be in control of my time.
Right.
Because before I started investing, I had like 2 jobs. I was working every day. I'll never forget it. It was like freshman year of college. I worked like 31 days straight. And I told myself I'll never do that again. 31 days straight on someone else's clock now. Mm-hmm. Now it's like to the point where it's like I just made sure that I never wanted to do that again. So it was like last year, that's really when the time came. I was like, I'm gonna quit my job. It was the same time last year. And I put that plan in place and I like took things to the next level.
Okay. So outside of what you just said, what else inspired you to pursue a career in the stock market?
What else inspired me? I would honestly say really just as far as me wanting to own my own company. Like, because I look at like, well, I started my own company now, but like I looked at like investing in the stock market as me being able to like gain funds to go invest in real estate, gain funds and like travel the world. Like that's really some of the stuff that motivated me. Like, the fact that I want to travel.
Okay. Where do you want to travel to?
Where I want to travel to? I want to travel across the whole world. I want to visit every continent in the world.
Okay, so like we first said, a lot of people don't know about your brand, which is Black Wall Street Originals. So kind of just walk us through how it came about, what sparked that, what sparked you to want to say, okay, I want to own my own company. I want to call it Black Street Originals, and I want it to be, involved in the stock market. So just walk us through that.
Okay, so honestly, when I first started trading, I really just wanted to trade like by myself, like independently, like just continue to trade and grow my wealth. But I had a dream, and my grandmother, she passed away in 2008. But she was in my dream and she said, Lawrence, you had this talent, you had this skill, you had this ability to invest, but yeah, you're not really giving it back to your community. You're not sharing your knowledge, you're not sharing your wealth. And so I sat there and I did a reflection of myself. I said, wow, she came all the way to me just to say that. And it was wild at first. It was like I couldn't believe it because I hadn't talked to her in so long. It was like when she came to me, it was a wake-up call because I could see myself like slipping. I could see myself becoming like a person that I didn't want to become. And honestly, when I started to continue to like really like invest, it was like, all right, I want to own my own company now.
Right.
And the backstory behind Black Wall Street Originals, for those of you guys who don't know, the original Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1919. Was nothing but successful black business owners. You had investors, you had real estate owners, you had grocery shop owners, you had barbershops, you had 35 blocks of just successful black businesses. That was burned down, tore down. So like one of those, really with that, it really bothered me to see the name like Black Wall Street be tarnished. So where I got Black Wall Street Originals from is really because I believe black people are the original people on this planet. So that's where the original comes in. But
that's what inspired the name.
That's what inspired the name.
Okay.
Okay. But how we started it was really me and my COO, Chris Ramsey, and it was a couple other my friends. It was like those were the first people that I started like teaching and like putting on to the stock market and stuff like that. And so like I remember like it was like this time last year, and it was like I was teaching them, and it was just the ground zero. So like everything that I talked about at this time last year, for the most part, like pretty much everything has came true. Now it's still like I would say at Black Wall Street Originals, we have 7 phases. We're still only at phase 0.5, so still the sky's the limit.
Okay. So I like the fact that your friends helped you and built you up like that. I think that's a part of the brand is partnership, and I don't know if I'm correct or not, but like partnership and brotherhood and making sure that we have each other's back. When I hear the words Black Wall Street Originals, that's kind of what I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, ma'am.
So go ahead.
And I hear you talk a lot about teaching and how you kind of started from zero with those. It was 3 individuals, right? 3 people, and you kind of like, help them learn the stock market and things like that. So I know for the people listening, for the people on live, they kind of want to, get a little insight. So is there a way you could give us like a quick lesson on the terminology, starter points, things like that?
Got you. All right, yes, ma'am. So pretty much like what the stock market is, like what you're always gonna hear is you buy low, you sell high. But there's truth to that. But there's a whole nother side to it that a lot of people don't know, because there's a lot of things that I teach that aren't talked about on TV, or you won't really hear in a day-to-day conversation. So the kind of style of trading that I do on the stock market is called trading options. So with trading options, it allows you to make money off the market in multiple directions. You use a call if you want to make money off a stock going up, and then you use a put if you want to make money off a stock going down. And so honestly, like, it's more than just buying shares. It's a whole nother part of it. You buy contracts, and that's what the calls and the puts are. They're contracts. And so this is what these masses of elites are using. They're using option trading.
So these are kind of like, are these necessarily like platforms, or are these just like terminology that you use?
Terminology.
Okay.
So like pretty much like if I'm gonna use an example of like an actual trade that I did. It was a company called Boeing. So Boeing is like an aircraft company. They make planes. For example, Delta, Southwest, American Airlines, they use Boeing planes. Also, the military uses some of Boeing's planes as well for their Air Force Department and stuff like that. So I also teach people like how to correlate news. So if you see bad news on a company, it's still an opportunity to make money off that company. And that's really what I like try to teach my students is like, regardless of the situation, it's always going to be a winner. It's always going to be a loser. But a lot of times what people don't understand is sometimes the winner can be making money off the stock going down.
Right. So what are some of the platforms you use to get started with the stock market? Say there's someone out there who knows nothing about the stock market, doesn't know what it is, doesn't know the terminology, nothing about it, but they're interested and they want to invest.
Interested. All right, so the number one platform that I used when I first started trading was Investopedia. As far as the learning, Investopedia, I call it the library of trading. If you anything you want to know about trading, whether it be like you said, the terminology, whether you want to take a look at the history of the stock market, Investopedia has those resources there for you to take a look at. Another platform I use is Robinhood.
I heard about that.
So Robinhood is actually a stock market trading app. That's where you actually place the trades, you make the money, you make things happen. Robinhood is a very, very great app, especially for people just beginning. I feel like it has some very good tutorials for you, and it helps guide you on your way to learning to navigate the app and things like that.
Right.
Another good tool I would say to use is Seeking Alpha. It's an app as well. Now, Seeking Alpha, if you want to look at like a company as far as researching, it's kind of like Investopedia, but Seeking Alpha gives you more current news, and it's very scholarly. It's a very scholarly app that I use on my for my day-to-day basis. And then you can start really with your stock app on your iPhone. If you got an iPhone, every iPhone comes with a stock app. So honestly, you could take a look at that screen time analytics on your phone. You see you ain't been using that stock app.
Right.
So that stock app is a very good place to start as well too.
Right.
Okay. So what can we expect to see from Black Wall Street Originals in the next year?
Next year, okay. That's big.
Right, it is big.
And when I think about Black Wall Street Originals in the next year, I think about how far we came in this past year. And honestly, I believe I'm gonna make a bold statement. You'll see me as a millionaire this time next year.
Ooh!
So I'm throwing that out there.
Right.
Then you'll also not only me, but you'll see some of my students as millionaires as well too.
Okay, look. Put me on board. I want to be one of those students. I'm trying to be a millionaire within the next year.
The way the market's moving, everything that's happening, 2020 is going to be a big year for Black Wall Street. Not just as far as making money wise, but I really want to get started on the community building as well too, because that's an important piece too.
Yeah.
So I want to have a couple fundraisers. I want to have a couple give back to the community events. It's a lot of things that I have planned for Black Wall Street, but as far as just I just see us growing as well too.
Right.
So right now we have like about almost 160 members
Wow.
in Black Wall Street. When we first started, like I said, we had 3. In March this year,
Wow.
had 7, 8. In May, had 25. Once.
So you've grown exponentially.
So
Right.
it's starting to grow exponentially. Right now, I'm currently kind of on a college tour, so to say. So I've been visiting different colleges, building Black Wall Street, not just on Clayton State's campus,
Right.
but as well as been traveling to KSU. I'm getting ready to travel a little bit to Georgia State more and more.
You just came back from FAMU?
I just came back from FAMU this past weekend.
My dream school.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. So honestly, one of my number 1 students, Irby, he actually goes to FAMU. So I had the chance to link up with him, as well as Cameron Freeman. Another one of my number 1 students. And honestly, it's just a good environment. When I take a look at things, I mean, I'm gonna give these boys some shout outs today. About Cameron Freeman made almost $3,000 today. So I'm gonna give him a shout out. MVP for today.
Right.
When you take a look at that, Quez, you know Quez, he goes to Georgia State. We'll give a shout out to Quez. Quez had his first $1,000 day today.
Okay.
So I'm proud of Quez.
I'm trying to hop on board. I'm just hearing these digits, these combos. I'm trying to get on.
So for people who do want to get on, right? Explain to them that process, like how much is your fee? Because I know you just recently switched the payment process and all that jazz.
So so right now, like I have for the fees wise, I've made it to where it's like a package. More so instead of having people pay for each individual thing. So I actually offer Zoom calls. So Zoom is a video conference call app. And I usually try and do Zoom calls at least once a day. I actually had like 4 or 5 Zoom calls today. The reason being was today was such a big day on the stock market. You take a look at it. You see the results that some of these guys are bringing in. The biggest thing is like I wanted to make sure that everyone was prepared for today. But like the Zoom calls are very important, very imperative, because there's a lot of times where people can come on and ask questions. And then it's also time for me to give lectures as well too. Because if you take a look at it, not everyone's located here in this area.
Right.
I got some people in South Georgia. I got a member in Las Vegas. I got we got members, like I said, we got members in Florida.
Right.
We got a couple members in Alabama. We got some members in New York. My cousin, she was a member in DC, but now she's getting ready to go back to Chicago. So she'll be our first Chicago member. It's a lot of people spread out. So Zoom really allows me to make sure that everyone's understanding the concepts.
Okay, I'm going national. All right. So we're about to take a quick break. Y'all, I got some real hot juice for you, know what I'm saying? Just fresh off the tracks. Maddie, Honey Rich. Shout out to the boy Maddie. You can follow him on Instagram at Eva Legacy. That's EVA Legacy. And yeah, just stream his song Honey Rich on all platforms. Lawrence, do you want to tune us out? Go to break.
All right, so
it's your boy.
It's your boy Lawrence here with CSIR Radio. We'll be back in a few.
All right, that was perfect.
Talk to you. I don't really even ride with you. And I'll be damned if I switched up the game. Need name just to keep it 1K. Racks up, throw it in their face. Tight taste, don't let it go to waste. I press about it, she ain't even on my radar. Pull up to your spot and spray that with an AR. Flee the scene, treat myself to designer things. Diamond rings, 2-seat coupe. Hot boy, skirt past you, yeah. Monkey see, monkey do, I'm petty boo. Yeah, Honey Rich, I polish. Hit a lick, you know I gotta get it. But I don't even wanna talk to you. I don't really even ride with you. And I'll be damned if I switched up the game. Need lane just to keep it 1K. Racks out, throw it in their face. Tired taste, don't let it go to waste. Big bands like an ensemble. Good, I'ma build my pop bottles. Thumbing through the money like a novel. Enough cash don't make it wild. Ran it up even on a bad day. But I really had bad days. If a hating, she a sad case. Trust me, I done almost drug on my last place. Feel it in the middle, so I'm good on all that romance. Money keep me satisfied, that's why I don't need no news. Instagram popping in my DMs, you get no chance. Posted up with bars, don't message me, yeah. Bars, don't message me, okay. Honey rich, I pop this shit. Hit a lick, you know I gotta get it. Well, I don't even wanna talk to you. I don't really even ride with you. And I'll be damned if I switched up the game. Need me lane just to keep it 1K. Racks out, throw it in their face. Tired taste, don't let it go to waste. LLC.
All right, we're back. I hope y'all like that heat that I just put to your ears. You feel me? If you need a fan, grab it real quick. I know you're sizzling. That was Maddie Honey Rich, and like I said, you can follow him on Instagram at Eva Legacy. But we are back here with the CEO of Black Wall Street Originals LLC, Lawrence Eggleston.
Appreciate it.
So, Lawrence, people want to know the difference between your company, which is in the actual stock market, versus the Forex trend that is going on.
Okay, that's an excellent question, and I feel like I'm gonna start off by saying this. Now, the stock market and the foreign exchange market are both real markets.
Right.
You have this company called IML, who actually offers a teaching platform that teaches you about the foreign exchange market. But they also offer a compensation plan for you if you get more people to sign up.
Forex.
So this is Forex. So if you get if you get two people, then they waive your fees. But if you get a third person, now you start bringing in residual income.
Yeah, residual income.
So the problem is with IML is this: they have a lot of people in their program doing that, but not trading on the foreign exchange market.
So they just have people.
So they just have people continuously signing up underneath them, but they never trade.
Right.
The biggest thing as well is the foreign exchange market. I'll say IML, the company that teaches about the foreign exchange market. They don't show results. So the biggest thing about it is this: with Black Wall Street, I make it known. I keep receipts. I make sure my students keep receipts. I'm screenshotting pretty much every day, because I want people to know that this is something real and this is something legit. Because at the end of the day, people want to see what?
Results.
People want to see results.
Correct.
And honestly, the biggest difference I would say is like the foreign exchange market is literally if you were to travel from the United States and you went to Australia and you had your American dollars, you probably wouldn't be able to use your American dollars over there in Australia. So what you would do, you would go to a currency place and you would exchange your U.S. dollars for the Australian dollar. Now during that time period, the Australian dollar might be worth a little bit more than the U.S. dollar.
Right.
So you might lose money. You're going to gain money,
right.
But if you were to transfer it back, you might lose money.
Right.
So that's
stock market. Okay.
So that's pretty much a foreign exchange market. So with the stock market,
Right.
you're actually taking your money and you're investing it into a specific company.
Right.
And with the stock market, you had an opportunity to make money off the stock going up or down. So you have an opportunity to buy what is called as shares. So shares is a percentage ownership of the company. So with shares, you can only make money off the stock going up. But if you trade options, which is calls and puts, something I talked about a little earlier, if you buy a call and the stock goes up, you start making money. But if you buy a call and the stock goes down, then you start losing money. But if you buy a put and the stock goes down, you make money. And if you buy a put and the stock goes up, you lose money. And then it's also another way for you to make money off the market staying the same. And it's what it's called is a spread, and that's a whole different conversation. So you can make money on the stock market whether it's staying the same whether it's going up or whether it's going down. And really, honestly, I feel like the stock market is a place, like what you'll hear is that the foreign exchange market is a $5.7 trillion market.
Okay, so what's something you as a brand, Black Wall Street, offer versus like somebody just getting into it on their own versus using you guys to get into the stock market?
Okay, so I basically, what I'm offering is I'm showing you what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis and saying, hey, why can't you do it too? And so like, whether that be, I'm teaching people how to analyze news the way that I'm looking at it. So I'm teaching people how to actually decipher some of the vocab, because a lot of times with the news, they'll try to put these big words in there. And for example, we use dovish. A lot of people don't know what the word dovish means, but dovish deals with someone's tone. How are they speaking? What is their motive? So a lot of times they might throw a term like dovish in there, and that might make someone discouraged, and they might put it down and say, I don't understand this.
Right.
So what I'm teaching them is exactly how to use context clues.
Right.
Because the biggest problem that I had when I was in 3rd grade, I didn't know how to use context clues. Right. So over the past years, I've just been dedicating myself to learn how to use context clues and use the sources there. So another thing I do is like I'm showing them how to analyze charts.
So you're like a walking platform versus them using, something via, the computer or online. It's like they have you to go to help explain things to them, walk them through the process of investing. Okay. Okay.
So, what do you feel is better, the stock market or the foreign exchange market?
I feel like the stock market is definitely a better opportunity to use. I still believe that the foreign exchange market is a good tool to use, but I believe it takes a lot more money with the foreign exchange market to see some serious returns. I feel like, honestly, with the stock market, I feel like it's an opportunity for you to make money off the market in 3 different ways. And I feel like you don't only have to do the stock market on a day-to-day basis. You can do it on a month-to-month basis, week-to-week, year-to-year. And I take a look at it and I say, a lot of times with the foreign exchange market, it's moving a lot faster. So for someone who can't be on their phone as much 24/7, it can hamper you.
Right.
And a lot of times, I like the U.S. stock market because it deals more with the United States. The U.S. stock market is open 9:30 to 4, 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Now the foreign exchange market is open 24/5, so 24 hours through Monday through Friday. So it's a lot going on. And I feel like with the stock market, you could start with just the stock market and you won't get as overwhelmed.
Right. So is there any way you can walk us through like a current investment or something you just did, like some kind of I guess
current investment? Okay. All right, so we'll talk about it. So I talked about before we went to break how some of my top students made a couple $1,000s today. I didn't say about how I made about $5,000 today off the stock market. So really, you have this company named FedEx. We know who FedEx is.
Right.
So if you take a look at FedEx right now, if you type in FedEx stock on Google, on your Google search right now, you'll see that FedEx stock went down. That's what we made most of our money off of today, was FedEx stock going down. Yeah. So how do we?
That's the put, right?
We use the put contract.
Okay,
So you learn it.
Yeah.
So
we the teacher.
So we use the put contract to make money off FedEx going down. And so how do we know FedEx stock was going to go down? So FedEx lost Amazon. So no longer are FedEx and Amazon have a partnership. So FedEx has stopped delivering their packages because now Amazon is getting ready to start doing their own. But they have drones. So if you take a look at that, FedEx was talking about, oh, we're not going to be affected, this and that. Right. You lost Amazon. Amazon is
a big company,
widely known as one of the most valuable companies, not only in the United States but in the whole world.
Right.
So you don't just lose one of the most valuable companies in the world and just gonna be okay.
Right.
You're gonna take a hit.
You're gonna take a hit, and so that's what happened with FedEx today. They took a hit.
And you knew this information based off of what?
Based off of what? So there's actually current events. So I actually use CNBC News. I use Yahoo Finance. I use Seeking Alpha. I use the Wall Street Journal. So some of these CNN News. So basically, these outlets are apps that you can also get on your phone, and you can set alerts. And what you can do is you can follow certain companies. So you can follow FedEx, you can follow Apple, you can follow Google, you can follow Tesla. You can follow these companies on those apps, and they'll send you notifications of breaking news. And you can enable that stock app on your phone. I'm just saying.
Right.
You're just saying you can enable that stock app.
Y'all better use these iPhones, all this money.
Yeah, y'all paying $1,000 for an iPhone, you better use it.
Right.
So and you can get notifications.
Okay then. All right. So
your personal testimony.
Yeah, I am actually a member of Black Wall Street Originals LLC. How that kind of came about is Lawrence and I had a podcasting class together in the spring, and I think this is when you was formulating your podcast. I think you already had the business idea already in motion, but I watched him kind of grow the company slick. So I was like, you know what? I ain't working. I need some money. I had a baby on the way. Like, I got to be able to support myself. And like Lawrence said, he posts them receipts like religiously.
Almost every day.
And I tell my dad this when I told him, Daddy, I'm about to start trading. He's like, well, how you know he not just selling you a dream? I'm like, because this man be posting like $500, $1,000, whatever kind. And I'm like, I can do that. We literally had a class together. I know this man personally, so if he can do it, I can do it. Like, so that's how that came about.
And not only that, but just knowing Lawrence as a friend, I would like to call it friend. You can just tell your character.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
you're
saying?
very genuine.
I noticed off of my experience, like I said, I was interested in the stock market before. I did do research over the summer of my freshman year, I believe, but I was very overwhelmed, and I was just like, this is a lot to take in. I don't know where to go do this, blah, blah, blah. But not necessarily saying it was a bad thing, because I think the stock market is worthwhile, but that's something that I see in you that I didn't see when I was introduced to Forex. Okay, because Forex went to a completely
like a sales thing.
Like, everybody was on it. Everybody was just pushing in your face, like, Forex. But the thing that was wrong was, one, they either couldn't show results, or two, it just seemed like they weren't genuine enough.
Like,
it just seemed like, get a number. They just wanted a number.
Because they want you just to sign up for their program so they can get that residual income.
Right.
The biggest thing that I tell people is I want people to really focus on, like, just building up their account, building up their wealth.
Right.
Like, I charge for my time, but what people make, that's y'all profits. So Irby making about $1,700 today. Quez making $1,000. Cameron Freeman making almost $3,000. That's their money.
Right.
I almost left someone out. My little sister. She's at UGA. She's a freshman. She made $1,700 today.
That's wonderful.
You know what I'm saying? Like, her texting me, showing me this. Like, I'm proud of my little sister for the progressions that she's made. When I take a look at my little sister, she started her account at $150 this summer. And she's growing her account well into the thousands now. And just seeing her consistency. And that's the biggest thing, is just about being consistent. Because you're gonna have some wins, you're gonna have some losses. So anyone who
trial and error.
Anyone who gets on here and says, "Oh, you're gonna win 100% of the time," they're lying.
Right. And that's what I learned, because I just recently did my first transaction last week, and what I learned is that, one, you have to do your research. You have to know what's going on. You have to know when is the best time to hold, when is the best time to sell, because I bought my first couple shares in PayPal, and PayPal is kind of like, it kind of fluctuates. But when I bought it though, I bought it, one, because I only had a certain amount of money, and I was trying to get, some shares in, and I was like, you know what? That seems like the logical thing to do. But when I bought it, it started going up. I could have made like a $78 profit that day. But I was like, you know what? Me being naive to how this works, I was like, it might go up because I wasn't reading the charts well.
Yeah.
And then the next day, it just didn't near plummeted. You know what I'm saying? And it's just a learning process. So my testimony is, the first time you try it, you might not get the 1,000 everybody else. But I did make a profit. I made a $30 profit off my whatever. That's still something.
Still something.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's a lot of times what I tell people when I first started trading. I show them the beginning. So I showed them one of my first trades where I made $54.
Right.
And I showed them the progressions over time, because the more money you have, the greater your returns. And I showed them, like, it's about where you start. Like I talked about Irby. Let me talk about him. He started his account with like $200. He made his first trade while he was at graduation package. You know what I'm saying? With PayPal, same company. So you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things that, like, a lot of times, like for example, Quez, he started his account with like $200, $300. So starting small and building up your equity is a very good tool. But then I have some students who might start with like $700 or $1,000 and stuff like that, and that's cool too. Like I say, like with investing, you might not have the same plan as Jen, or y'all might, you know what I'm saying. But overall, the goal is the same. The goal is to make money.
Right.
Now, what you're investing in, or how long you invest, you know what I'm saying, that's something different.
Right.
For example, I do something a little bit different with some of the teachers that used to teach me. I put them onto the long-term stuff, because if they're teaching a class, they can't be on their phone all day. They need something that they can let their money sit in, and they don't have to worry about, oh, is it plummeting, this and that. Something more so long-term that's not as volatile. So what does the word volatile mean? Volatile means change sporadically. So something that's not going to go up crazy or down crazy in a matter of seconds or minutes or an hour.
It's progression.
Something that's going to be more of a progression.
Okay. So overall, everybody knows who tunes into our show every Wednesday. They know our main purpose of the show is to shed light on talent, skill, and let them know how we feel about what they do. So here we got Black Wall Street with us. Lawrence, he just introduced us to the stock market, what he does, gave us a little background. So how do we feel about the stock market, and do we believe it's worthwhile? I'm gonna look, because she's already in it, so she knows. But like I said, I personally think it's worthwhile. I previously said, I already was interested. I just lost momentum because I got discouraged from terminology and not knowing. But not only that, I feel like it's worthwhile because not only does the stock market make you money, but it helps you be aware of what's going on around in the world, what's happening with these different companies, these different people. It helps you kind of be like your own little business, like your own little walking business or entrepreneur in a way. But I feel like it's so important for people to know what is going on around in the world, and these big companies that control so much of our daily lives, our money, things like that. So why not know when they're moving, what they're doing, being involved? So that's why I said, everybody likes school. I mean, not like school, but everybody's in school, textbooks, doing everything, putting their all into these lessons that the teachers are giving us. But you also got to take initiative to, step outside that and actually learn what's going on in the world, because that's where we're living. That's what's important. So I feel like the stock market not only gets you money, but it also helps you
to be
aware of, like, who would have known FedEx and Amazon, and that's
a big deal.
Yeah, that's a big deal. But people, aren't aware.
When their packages land,
right?
Like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Hey.
But not only that, but you look more. I don't know what the word is. I'm losing the word. But you just look or sound like you know something. You know what I'm saying? You sound like you have substance when you're able to say, did you know FedEx and Amazon just lost partnership?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Somebody's like, oh, how'd you know that? They kind of want to listen to you now because you sound like you know something that the average person doesn't.
Right.
So that's why I just feel like it's definitely worthwhile. Not only making money, but just helping you be aware and helping you have substance. Know what's going on. So.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I feel like the stock market has really like matured me even more than I already was. You talk about it. I want to know what's going on in the world. So, for example, we'll use this. Gas prices rose about 20 cents.
I saw that.
So a lot of people, if I wasn't an investor, I probably wouldn't know the reason why.
Yeah.
But I already knew gas prices was going to rise 20 cents before they rose 20 cents.
Because
Right.
of Saudi Arabia.
The reason being is because over the weekend, Saudi Arabia, which has one of the biggest supplying as far as oil and gasoline in the world, took a hit. They're one of the biggest factory in the world that's producing oil. Took a hit as far as a drone shot down into their. Now, no one died or anything.
Right.
Luckily, no casualties or anything. But their production was on halt for about 3-4 days. So that was meaning 3-4 days of no gasoline going out.
Yeah.
So what happens if no gasoline goes out? Then supply gets lower, but demand remains what? The same. Demand really gets higher. So if the supply gets lower, demand gets higher. Prices gotta go up.
Right.
So prices went up.
I saw that. That was like
If you're investing in it, you
$260.
would.
So
You know what I'm
those people investing in oil companies like, for example, Chevron, BP, they made money off of that. And then you can make money off of it going up. And now, so they actually had it go back online fully. So some of those gas companies went down. So you can make money. You could have been making money both ways.
Right. And that's why I say I just feel like, just going back into what I'm saying about, just being aware. I just feel like you said, just even as a black community, I feel like we just have to be more aware of what's going on around us. We can't make change. We can't call shots without knowing what is going on in this world. And that's outside of what we're doing, the school, getting our degree and stuff like that. I know it matters, what I'm saying, getting a piece of paper, but you have to have more than that. You have to be aware of things. You have to be involved in real world events so that you can actually make a change. And that's why I personally was, interested in the stock market, because why not? You know what I'm saying? You should always have more than one stream of income. Always have more tools under your belt. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing, don't worry, you got this thing. But not only that, knowledge is power to me. Knowledge is so much power. So if you're more knowledgeable on something, people want to listen to you. You create a platform. You know what I'm saying? You become a leader for a lot of individuals. And if we're going to move the black community, we got to be aware. We got to get this power, which is knowledge, and make a difference. So, yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's a little word for y'all.
Okay, but how I feel about it, I do agree with Jen. I feel like it is worthwhile, not only because I am a part of your business, but because of the results that I see. Like, the difference, when I was first thinking about getting into trading, period, anything, my first introduction was Forex, and Jen and I went together, and I just was not feeling the vibe that you give as far as like, you want to see us succeed. They want us to be numbers on their team so they can make money. So that's why I'm with you over the Forex thing. And then I didn't really understand it because wasn't nobody really trying to explain nothing. They just came dressed in their nice suits and tried to sell us a dream.
They don't really trade. So you can't explain something you don't even know about.
Right.
But you know what's crazy though? And I'm not trying to bash nobody, talk stuff about anybody who do Forex.
Right.
But from the outside looking in, I just see a whole bunch of people in the room doing these conferences and stuff like that, and it just doesn't seem real to me. Like, this is more real. It's more tangible.
I just feel like once you understand the stock market, you know how much power that is?
Yeah.
Like, that's actually you being involved with these big name companies all around. Whether it's big or small, because I know you can do small as well, but it's just you having knowledge of these companies, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's a benefit versus, Forex, it got its benefits too, but I just feel like the stock market is more real world,
because it's
more
home-based.
Right, more intuitive, more involved, more in touch. You know what I'm saying? Versus the Forex thing is just like you said, kind of like a number thing, or kind of like you're doing foreign exchange, you're getting involved with foreign money and things like that. Versus like you said, the U.S. stock market. This is where we are. This is where we're trying to make a change. This is where we need to be aware about. This is what we need to know about. You know what I'm saying? Versus You know what I'm saying? And it's still something to know, though.
Yeah.
But I just feel like
I get what you're saying.
The last point that I want to make is that even I feel like the stock market is a good place to make money if you are a visionary. I was having a conversation with my dad last night, and because I was explaining to him my trade and everything like that, and he was like, when the internet first started in its infancy and stuff like that, he was talking about how all these companies were trying to put like fiber in the ground so that they can build these internet towers and communication towers and stuff, and how everybody was trying to do that, and how important it was for people to go ahead and get in on those penny stocks, not knowing that in a decade internet was going to blow all the way up.
Right.
So now these people are like billionaires because of something that they did 10 years ago.
But you know, once you get used to knowing what that sounds like, knowing what that feels like when something's about to blow up, when something is about to become relevant, that's power right there. You know what I'm saying? You have a head start on some real world. You know, if I could cuss, I would, but you have a head start, you know what I'm saying, because you're aware of what's going on versus, you know, like you said, you know about FedEx and Amazon. I didn't. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? In a couple of days, it's going to be everywhere, you know, FedEx, Amazon partnership. But you already knew. And not only that, you had the opportunity to get money from that. So I just feel like, I give it an A plus. Look, I'm ready to go ahead and talk to you after. You know what I'm saying? Because I am for real ready. Because if I know now, like I said, I was discouraged because I didn't know, you know, much about it. But now I know you. You know what I'm saying? It's like a mentor-mentee type relationship. So I am definitely giving it an A for me. That's definitely a 10. All across the board, I'm ready. I don't know about y'all. You guys got to hit up Lawrence. Go to his social media, Black Wall Street Originals, and just get some more information.
And don't be scared, because I feel like people, for one, now that we've explained what the difference between the stock market and the foreign exchange market is, people will have a little bit more clarity. But I feel like when people hear trading in general, they go off of Forex and how unsure that is, because don't nobody really know what's going on.
And the stock market has been around for
since the beginning of the country.
So it's like, and you have, what's his name? Oh my gosh, he's super. I'm sorry, it's probably I should know. Yes, you know how.
Yeah.
But guys, that's what I'm saying, because he was aware of stuff that, like, what was his first investment in? I forgot.
Berkshire Hathaway.
Right.
It was a textile company.
Right.
Look at him.
You know what I'm saying? Look.
That's where the history comes in.
Right.
That's where
so he had a lot of insight, and he invested in so many companies that people didn't know were going to take off, and they took off, and now he's chilling.
Or my dad said, 50 Cent with vitamin water. That part too. Because nobody really knew about vitamin water like that. And then I believe it was Pepsi that bought them.
So I'm going to give y'all a little gem. So Jay-Z's an endorser for cannabis company. So we know the day and age of cannabis and how that's continued to be legalized. So I'm going to give y'all a gem. It's this company called Calvia. So if you go online and you type in Calvia, Calvia, the weed company, it's a company based out of California. And if you type in on their website and you sign up, you just sign up a little form, it's free or whatever. They'll send you an email before they become publicly traded. So what does that mean, publicly traded? So before they ever become traded on the stock market, you'll have the opportunity to buy into the company.
It's like penny stocks.
Yeah, it's probably going to be.
So it's the
so it'll be a very good opportunity to buy into the company. So take a look at Calvia.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So
how you spell it?
CALVIA.
Okay.
So he just ended on that note with a little gem. We gave it a 10 across the board. We ready. Well, I'm ready to sign up. Taylor's already on board. He gave you a gem. What more can you ask for?
I got one thing to ask for.
Lord.
Okay, other than cannabis industry, what other companies, if somebody wanted to start trading right now, should they be looking at?
All right, so I'm gonna tell you another company, Alibaba. So if you guys have ever heard of AliExpress.com, as far as you shop, so Alibaba is actually one of my favorite companies. And the love I have for Alibaba is unlike any other stock. When I take a look at Alibaba, I really feel like Alibaba is going to continue to grow as they continue to expand their company. Alibaba will be a good company to look at. Also, I'm gonna give y'all two more gems. I'm giving y'all two more gems. Now, these two things is what makes millions. TVIX and UVXY. Take a look at those. Currently, TVIX and UVXY, as far as buying into them, are at an all-time low. The thing about the market is the market moves ups and down. So you have the market at an all-time high right now, and you have UVXY and TVIX at an all-time low. Both of those have an inverse relationship. So in 2008, our market, we had a recession.
Right.
So TVIX and UVXY both were worth $300 million for one share. TVIX and UVXY right now, respectively, one of them costs $12 a share. The other one costs $23 a share.
Shoot, so, that's like, why not do it? It's so low.
All I'm going to say is TVIX and UVXY, pay attention, keep watching them. When the stock market falls again, which it will, hopefully be ready.
Right, look, I'm ready.
So two more gems.
That's
it.
Like I said, he gave us gems on top of gems on top of gems. I'm ready to get on board. Taylor's already on board. We just looking out for y'all. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead and get in tune with him at Black Wall Street Originals on social media. His personal social media, go ahead and shout that out.
Oh yeah, my personal social media is JB3_the best.
Oh, the best.
The best.
But we want to thank you guys for listening to Let's Be Real, where we always keep it real, give our honest opinions on what you do, what someone does. We want to thank you personally for coming and just sharing all these gems with us. Because like I said, I am ready already to, get involved, to get on board. I'm tired of being broke. You know what I'm saying? But we just want to thank you for coming on Let's Be Real with us.
And being real about everything. Like,
Appreciate
really
it.
helpful. You can follow our
social media.
you can follow Clayton Internet Radio on Instagram at CSIR Media.
Yes.
You can follow myself, Taylor, at TAYLA.A.WAYLAA.
Yes, and you can follow your girl Genesee on all platforms, GENNISEYIMON.
Yep.
Make sure y'all go ahead and follow us. Stay up to date. We get on live every Wednesday at 6 o'clock. So make sure you tune in for the next guest we have on here. We just like to, share our gems with you, share all this information with you guys. So make sure you stay tuned in.
And if you can, please, if you're able, go ahead and subscribe to Clayton State Internet Radio's YouTube channel at Clayton State Internet Radio. You can go ahead and follow us on Spreaker. If you don't have the Spreaker app downloaded, I don't know how you're listening, but you know what I'm saying. Download and follow us on the Spreaker app. Follow us at Clayton State Internet Radio. All of our shows are on there. You can follow. We have a variety. We got some sports. We got some. What else we got?
We just got a lot of people covering, more media things, like what's going on in the media world,
advice columns,
just different things. So you guys make sure you support and just tune in. And Spreaker is free, so I don't want any excuses.
For real.
Because it is free to
delete
download.
some stuff on your phone,
right,
so you can make some space.
Right.
You feel me? Our shows are also automatically uploaded to YouTube, so if you don't catch us on here, you can always go to our YouTube channel at Clayton State Internet Radio and catch us there. But it's been chill, you know what I'm saying? I'm on chill tonight.
Right. Oh, gosh. Look, let's get out of here before she starts singing. But we just want to close out. We're lit. We're always lit with CSIR. We're turned up, so tune in, y'all. Tune in.
All right.